Good morning and welcome to Community Church. My name is Andrew Galuska. I'm the Director of Music and Fine Arts here, and thank you for being here for our second organ and poetry Lenten concert. Today, of course, we have Indian River poet laureate, artist, potter, all-around good guy, Sean Sexton, with us today. He's also a cattle rancher, in case you couldn't tell by the hat. So thank you for being with us. As always, I will say, leave the world outside. In here, for the next 50 minutes, let us be in the moment. Let us be one with music. Let us be one with spoken word. And forget everything outside of these walls. And prepare for Easter. I'm happy that you are here. I'm happy that you are joining us on our live stream as well. Thank you. Please help me welcome Sean Sexton to our podium.
Well, the ranks are swelling. Have you noticed? We have a wonderful crowd. And we have guests from out of town. We have an Angus breeder and his wife, Mike Keeney and Linda from Nancy, Kentucky. And we go way back. And Wendell Berry's buys his son buys his bulls from him. And he's been a connection for me to Wendell, and they came down to just visit and see the cows. And anyway, you're so welcome to be here, and your friends from New Hampshire too are here. And so I just so pleased to hear to have you here. I want to give you this is a flyer for our poetry and barbecue coming up on April 13th, a Saturday at the Richardson Center. We have two of the greatest living poets on the face of the earth coming. And John Balaban I can't stop and tell you his story, but come up and get a flyer. I have them there. I have our catalogs that have the remainder of our Lenten series, all of the poets who are coming. There will be 4 more after me. They're all from out of town, and they're very distinguished. And anyway, enough of that. Let's see here. Let's get started, Andrew. We can tarry no more. So I have, I'm going to read a couple of poems you may have heard, because I want Mike to hear them, and he hasn't seen my new book, and I brought a few with me, and it's the thing about the idea poem. I ran into the situation where I was having trouble. I was sort of blocked, and my ideas weren't working. And I had finished this book, and COVID actually provided for me time and space to finish some of these ideas. And this is one that I think it's an agricultural poem. You've heard it, you may have heard it before. The Hillside Equipment Auction Yard outside Dothan, Alabama. Does that ring a bell? Anybody? Yeah, he's heard. The epigraph is, "I'm the wretch the song's about." I saw that on a bumper sticker driving through Alabama. You know what that means, don't you? A soft breeze mingles in the teeth of an ancient harrow set beside stacked stock panels and piles of rusted field fence, falters upon a mass of engine blocks submerged in Visqueen, like boulders in a hard-flowing mountain stream, as a frozen silence pervades the iron redoubts of the hillside equipment auction yard. There is a forlorn pause among disparate machines, hauled, driven, or dragged into places they seem remaindered from a wayward carnival. Aromas of fresh paint and grease confuse the apparition they comprise, cast from distant fields into glittering rows as stood the Spartan army among the dunes in the early morning light, awaiting the trumpet's toll. For sale on the morrow, says the sign. Tractors of every make and model, dozers, loaders, graders, backhoes, and excavators, and spread beyond their fantasy power upon the compound in dissension like the social ordering of a small town cemetery, the accessory dreams of agricultural invention. Combines and balers, buckets and spreaders, Adam's cure, nearly nonsensical in the problems of its fashioning. Monuments to simple, ugly hope. And you pass by, imagine yourself traversing the aisles, searching at first your own emptiness for what isn't there. Wanton remembrance arises in bruised knuckle disdain of the relic grain drill with jammed seed tubes, frozen bearings, and missing or broken springs. 20 years out of calibration, calling to you like the sirens from the rocks. 18 small birds suddenly pass overhead in perfect formation, outpacing the air. Mindlessly you take them in, how they seem to know better than you and your kind where they should be going as they fly. You're still 800 miles from home, full of allure of things you were never meant to have, thankful you'll miss the auction, any auction, by sheer gravity of departure, leaving it behind to the sons of men, dream-laden, addled, miserly, speculative, and outright fools. Yea, the fools, or everyone starves. You hurry along, safe on your way, knowing they will appear tomorrow evening at the appointed hour. Neighbors 1,000 miles away, all little less than gods, their lands little more than graves. I love hanging out with people who can invent fugues like that. Another sort of idea poem, The Mast. The ancient oak has waited long to speak, sending admonishment or laughter ringing this season as the mast strikes the roof in ongoing repartee. Hot little nouns drop and turn verb at the last moment, clatter and pound any hour of day or night, assailing at times our dreams. Spoken in particles or whole broken branches filled with leaves and corns, they arrive like missives from the reaches, so we worry the sky really is falling. All gone unsaid between us, and our taciturn neighbor litters the terrace in daily memos of arboreal matter, and as we are blind to complication overhead, also do we step unaware out of doors upon the transcript in Braille, our erasures and redactions given with broom and blower, but there's more to come. Always something needs said that takes all season, so we might wonder that any peace keeps between us the rest of the year. How long, in these terms, the infant mango delays fruit and bloom, or budding guava her ascent on shaded rungs, while we barely know when to hold our tongues. So the wise, mysterious, and estrus of nature, strains that give birth every other year, post-vernal appearances of spider, dauber, and swallow, the locust episodic wakening, certain seeds after centuries, or flush of toadstools from one kind of rain, but no other. Each for a time to every purpose under heaven. So I'm going to start into sort of these environmental poems that came from just sitting on my porch and not having any ideas, just writing what was happening. And that would invariably lead me down some avenue of thought or... Anyway, this is Ars Poetica of a sort. August 2nd. A poem is not far. The golden brink out there, just beyond the pasture and trees, to survey every morning. Now infant golden light casts upon everything, since yesterday's blue quilted sky, only a single rift in its face. Yet something has cleared it all away, perhaps the empurpled fury that passed by yesternoon as we scooted furniture from the cavernous screened openings of the porch, shoved things from windows ahead of tumultuous wind-driven rain. Poetry not far. Perhaps we don't need to go to Europe to find, and I won't have to drive all the way to fetch my passport applied for renewal at the post office in Fellsmere, where they informed me by letter 2 months past I hadn't signed the order. Is poetry somewhere I must go, move and bring it close? Like my writing chair in a sudden rain, wetting my back, my papers and computer, that I must pick up my thoughts, let poetry pass just a little as the world soaks in. I just don't like to do readings without my organ anymore. You understand, don't you? These are optimum conditions. You're the optimum audience. This is whelmed. This is 3 days later, August 5th. I tap out my pipe, aware of the grand majesty of a morning taking shape. All the breezes of the yesterday settled like complaint grown silent. Of the crumbs of char and half-burnt tobacco that somehow wind up on everything, some landed on this page, make an unintelligible calligraphy, so the leaves of the open book remind me of a blanker whiteness of benighted snow, with no expression, nothing to express. Written pages have grown in this natty little volume of musings, piling up defiled with my own script to whatever effect. Some have the quality of poems, some ramble prose-like, all in attempt to encompass the morning, however it comes. A season rampant in face of its draws from an account of moisture and light. This year and the last, savings have been ample, funds available, and will not be insufficient for many months to come. After the calf selling, August 10th. A sky of seeming aftermath, that blue in soft resolution, albeit a pale melon crack in its center, as all perfection has its misgiven fault. Cattle crying in the distance evoke the tenor of mosquitoes when they sound at all. But closer and with interruption, a young bull feeling certain elevation above the general cadence of the grass is raising homemade hell he carries along the fence to any who will listen. Something answers in support of this farce. A dove in the branches pays him no heed, cooing her daily prayer, a being that beats like a heart in the motionless air. There are sounds in place in every corner of life, perhaps an essential circumlocution of all things present. How many times shall I write about the morning's advent before it seems too much? I pray that, like breath itself, it shouldn't end until it should. I love this title. It's Hold What You Got. I had a coach in high school who said, Coach, I don't think I can dress out today. He said, well, you just hold what you got. You just hold what you got. I didn't know what that meant. It didn't sound good. Did not sound good. Hold what you got. The epigraph is, as though existence were a nervous disease by Alfred Korn. September 27th, I'm not used to losing teeth, the empty places, but I'm getting that way. We age and wonder what we've done wrong. In moments before daybreak, 6:37 a.m., there's nothing to determine through the dark portal to the east. I hear dripping in the trees, a ticking, like an unreliable, half-broken timepiece, like an old person, still alive and right at least twice a day. Calves are coming like clockwork this season, 15 to date, on what seemed yesterday like a things gotten back to normal day. Mayhem, butchery, and sheer witlessness have grown acute with time and become the order of things. Frogs creak in brief obad, and I think of what's next in a morning yet full of things that have never been. A lovely downpour passed in the night of this season that rains in the dark. Here the homonym works with its tone of meeting, admittedly in eloquence so soft. Now my son is driving through the yard, heading out to hunt predators in the gloom. Night vision scope, high-powered rifle, he's also a predator. Something must be done, we often say to one another. Something against thievery and laughing tongues we can't seem to catch up with. There is wailing, a shrill sound from those upon whom they prey, had now persisted in the wood so long that probably it never would be lost. Dark, September 10th. There is certainty in this darkness, these further days of the change, perhaps our assurance of a temporal world. Coyote voices given to this moment have been silent until now, presage the advent of calving season in their mournful lampoon. Do they know? Of course they do. We found 3 leftover cows in the ryegrass block north of the barn on our morning round. One with a swelling udder grazing a ditch bottom, soon to give birth by the looks of her. The other 2 decrepit, apart from the main herd by virtue of their condition. We're feeding the most elderly one, wearing bed sores and scuff marks from the daily task of getting to her feet, thing miraculous in itself. Here she remains where a month ago we drove her calf to the pens on sale day to put on the truck. Today her meager bag resembles an old ragged pair of fence gloves of no further use. We'll carry feed to her until she doesn't any longer want to rise. This I can neither justify or explain. But if she's happy to stand in the new morning light, I am just as pleased to haul her another bite, and will do so until that day. This is called Worth. It's only a day later, September 11th. I've wasted these days in the darkening hurry of the hours, let myself, dry-handed and ignorant, determine one aim in deference to another. All I want to do is read and write poetry. Somehow it spells in the distant mist that can cover this land, sings by the chime, mesmering from that till of light to the east, whether at first sight or by bright blue afternoon such as this, yet art conceals itself from us, often in full apparency. The good days will come back around as if they were never gone. Now the once dry pond is full of flags declaring a green Bastille Day in full emblem, all raised out of disappearance, as amid the summer-long dissonance of machinery in the air comes a farthing breeze to conjure some aleatory hymn. One need only hear once to understand the world indeed will save itself from us all. So back to ideas. We probably should have stopped right then, you know. But I'm doing this for Mike Keeney. This is a poem. You've heard this before. The Old Cow Museum. This is for him. You don't even have to play anything afterward if you don't. We're taking up these people's valuable time. You realize that. Old Cow Museum. Like soldiers from the front, they come hobbling, veterans of time's war, dragging limbs, comporting brokenness, shambling on to assemble at the trough. The heifer with a turned-back foot is always in the lead, maimed in calfhood in a bovine crush, and called from the August load to stow here, unsaleable, where she's grown, got bred out of season when a Brahma bull spirited in and fertilized her like Denai. The elderly blind dam smells her way to feed, outpaced by the throng. We can't send her to market. The maze opened on the trailer door, as grim as her own labyrinth. Where and how would she go? They'd foot us a bill for the pathetic parody played out. Here she stays until death closes her paddock of memory. Every shallow and rise, branch and barb, to learn again in her daily trace, unless she must follow her ear or reckon the air. Time stands still in the Old Cow Museum. Time present, time past, empties and fills the wombs of calf streams. Time of no season, no consequence, as the daily orb arrives with no meaning. Where the crippled Brahma that can't make it down the lane glows in the distance like a cumulonimbus over the Bahamas. She calved her first year in captivity, whelp slight as her udder, melted into the woodwork soon as we caught sight of him. Here she stays, barren augury of an unwhispered beatitude, violating every scruple of cattle breeding. Companion to the arthritic Angus matron, bought 1 year in the Carolinas at the end of a sale. Attrition could be her name as she struggles to her portion, like your grandmother through the aisles of the grocer, cries loudest when Sunday's brunch must wait till after church. In every calving season, orphans emerge. To count among the world's brood, be added in. The first-timers get she wouldn't own, an unclaimed twin. Daughter of the cancer eye cow that withered away 2 months shy of the wean. A listless starveling of the fretful Madonna of the swollen teats, taken and given to shoulders and wits, and wastrel, whose mammy up and died midwinter, she, wild as a snake, to be gotten out and finessed into this house of mishap. Anyone in this business needs what they contain. An out-of-the-way place, the quelling grains and peace of ancient dames. At the end of suffering, there is a door. And some bright morning we'll find another gone off to the unfenced field, a shadow curled beneath a bough, the collect of leather and bone, gather of manure, birds already there, and what we'd always taken for the wind, an unceasing benediction.
Thank you, John. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
We are going to do a tour of the organ right after this program. If you've never been up to the console, it takes about 20 minutes, 25 minutes, and then we go up to the chambers and also check out what's behind the facade so you can actually see what the organ is actually. So if you'd like to do that, we'll meet here in about 2.5 minutes. Please thank Sean Sexton for being with us today. Bill.